Bueno, muy buenas tardes a todas las personas que empiezan a unirse a esta sesión informativa con la Universidad de Bristol. Mi nombre es Karen Martínez. Yo hago parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales de Colfuturo y básicamente el objetivo y el propósito de esta sesión es pues brindarles a ustedes las herramientas, los datos, la información fundamental y valiosa si sus planes de estudio están encaminados en llevar a cabo un posgrado en esta gran institución académica. Quiero contarles pues que en este mes de agosto vamos a estar desarrollando sesiones como la del día de hoy con universidades, perdón, de convenio con Colfuturo pertenecientes al Reino Unido e Irlanda. Entonces, si su interés está enfocado en este tipo de universidades provenientes de estos países, pues pueden tenerlo muy presente y estar muy actualizados de los eventos que les estaremos ofreciendo. El día de hoy nos acompaña Sumitra Durai, ella es International Market Development Manager for Americas, David Thomas, que es representante para América Latina de esta institución, y Jenny Pineda, que es alumna colombiana de esta universidad. Ellos nos van a brindar información súper valiosa sobre recomendaciones en general, la experiencia de Jenny en esta institución, temas de oferta académica, financiación, procesos de admisión, becas, incluso hospedaje y muchas más cosas. Entonces, pues la invitación que les queremos hacer es estar muy atentos de toda la información, hacer las preguntas que tengan en el cajón de Q&A, las van a poder formular y nuestros panelistas las van a estar respondiendo a lo largo de la sesión. También quiero recordarles que vamos a abordar el convenio que tiene Colfuturo con la Universidad de Bristol, que consta de un descuento del 30% sobre el valor de la matrícula para los beneficiarios de Colfuturo admitidos en programas de maestría y doctorado. Asimismo, van a poder ellos acceder al Think Big Development Program. Así que bueno, sin más preámbulos, le doy la palabra a Sumi. Sumi, thank you so much for being here. You can go ahead with your presentation.
Thanks so much, Karen. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Yep, hopefully everyone can see my screen. So thanks everyone for joining us today, and welcome to hopefully your journey to Bristol. My name is Sumi Durai, and I work for the university's international office, and I'm based here in Bristol. Joining me today is my colleague David Thomas, our Latin American representative based in Mexico. And we will also, as Karen mentioned, be joined by a student, a past student, so an alumna of Bristol who studied with us in 2002. She's a Chevening scholar, and she also is the leader of our Colombian alumni group. That's Jenny Pineda, who will be with us shortly. So today I'm going to walk you through a little bit about Bristol and a little bit about the University of Bristol. If you've not been to the UK or only been to the UK and only think of London when you think of the UK, that's actually very common. Bristol is one of the UK's best kept secrets. It's located here in the sometimes sunny southwest of England. It's only an hour and a half by train to London, and it's a really well-connected city by bus, by train, and by plane if you wanted to travel to Europe. It's the UK's 8th largest city, and it's one of its, I think it's the 5th biggest economy in the UK. So you can imagine it is a city center, but it's actually quite small. Bristol's only got a population of about 500,000. And Bristol's a really good blend of city center with some countryside, with a river running through it. It's really a city that's got a lot of soul, a lot of story, a lot of possibilities. One of the things we're proud of is how green the city is. It was the UK's first cycling city. It's the most eco-friendly city in the UK, and it's got over 400 parks and green spaces. Today, I was taking someone who actually is from Colombia on a campus tour, and we walked to 3 different parks just walking around the campus because there's just lots of different parks and green spaces around the city area. It's also been named the best place to live outside of London for young people. And that there are so many reasons for that, some of which I will show you now. So Bristol is an interesting city. There's always stuff going on. There's something for everyone. Everyone's able to find their passion, whether they're interested in sports or art or music, culture. There's loads of different people who live in Bristol, and it's just a really mixed community. So one of the things that international students have told us that they like about Bristol is how easy it is to get around. Obviously, if you're living somewhere for just a year, you would want to feel like you could make a home of it. And Bristol is like a neighborhood contained in a city. So these are comments from some of our American students about how easy they found it to live in Bristol as an international student. You will also find that you will definitely not be the only Colombian when you come to study at Bristol. It's a really diverse city with loads of people from every corner of the world. It's not uncommon to hear Spanish spoken on the streets because there's so many people from Latin America studying here, working here, living here. And it's also quite an easy place to practice your faith, to celebrate your holidays, and to find people, places, and food from home. So yeah, our international students tend to find it easy to settle into life in Bristol. Um, and yeah, there's some other information I'll provide that will hopefully give you a sense of what it's like to study here. Um, Another thing that students find about Bristol is that you never run out of things to do. So if you're interested in going to plays or performances, you can go to the Hippodrome to catch a musical or the Bristol Old Vic, which is the oldest continuously running theatre in the English-speaking world. Some of you may have heard of Banksy, the street artist who's actually done a whole bunch of little bits of graffiti in London this last couple of weeks. He's actually from Bristol, and some of his earliest works can be found around the university campus, which is quite cool. For those of you who like sports, Bristol, the university's got a really good rowing team, and you can find people in the summertime paddleboarding down the river or kayaking or canoeing. There's just so many different types of activities you can get involved with. And if you like shopping, you will find lots of local and international brands, but especially indie brands here in Bristol. And it's also a city of festivals. So in this last summer, over the last few months, we've had the International Balloon Fiesta, and you can see the hot air balloons in this picture here. Bristol's the only university with its own hot air ballooning society. That's how big hot air balloons are in this city. But there's also been Upfest, which is a street art festival. There's been Bristol Pride. There's been so many different things that are going on. And in September, there's going to be a few different festivals as well. So the students who join us this year will be able to go to the Wing Festival, a festival celebrating chicken wings. There's just a lot of different things that goes on in the city constantly. And so even though it's quite a small city, again, you feel like you'll never run out of things to do. So that's quite a nice environment for you to live in. But obviously, one of the main things you'll be coming to Bristol to do is to study. So let me tell you a little bit about the University of Bristol. This slide is just going to cover some background to give you a sense of the spirit of the university. So Bristol's quite an old university. It was founded in 1876, and from the time we opened our doors, we were the first university in England to admit women on an equal basis to men. So men and women could equally come to study at this university for degrees. We've been world leading for a long time and in many different ways. We're part of the Russell Group, which is a group of research universities akin to the Ivy League in the US. And we are excellent at research. So every student who comes to Bristol, whether you're doing a bachelor's degree, master's, or obviously a PhD, you will be involved with research. Research will be embedded in your degree. And who knows what that could lead to, because Bristol's also a site of innovation. So lots of different things have been invented in Bristol. If I don't know how big Ribena is in Colombia, but that was a Bristol invention, and so many different things. We've been involved in the invention of the mobile phone, Wi-Fi, and fake snow that's used in movies. We've got people who are creating new kinds of technology to do with haptics. We just have a lot of we encourage people to innovate. And we're world leading in that sense. We were the first UK university to declare a climate emergency in 2019. We're building a new campus at the moment, which has sustainability at its core. And you will find that in Bristol, that is a running theme. We're ranked 17th in the world for sustainability, in the world, yeah. And we're also a multidisciplinary institution. So what you'll find is that we've got a range of courses across lots of different disciplines. And I'll show you the list in a second. We've got over 600 courses across undergraduate through to postgraduate level. So yeah, this is part of the reason students choose to come to Bristol is because of how reputable the university is. We're highly ranked both in the UK and in the world for research, for teaching, for employability. And all of these things make up a really strong qualification that you will gain from studying with us. Many of our Colombian students have chosen us largely on the basis of the strength of our education and how recognizable it is internationally. So especially if you're looking to build an international career, that's something that might be appealing to you. But also it's the quality of our research. You will be taught by people who are at the forefront of their industries and their fields. So that can be quite exciting, and coupled with how nice the city is. So I did mention that we have over 600 courses at an undergraduate and postgraduate level. These are all the subject areas that we offer. And yeah, we've got a range of specialist masters that you can choose from as well. And depending on what course you're interested in, we would be able to provide you with more specific advice related to that. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or the Q&A. But I guess the thing to highlight here is that we do offer some courses that are interdisciplinary. We also offer some courses that are conversion courses. So you will have the opportunity to learn from across disciplines. And if you choose some of our courses, you might have the opportunity to transfer your skills from your previous degree into a completely different career. So in terms of how to get into a course at Bristol, our entry requirements are you need to have an undergraduate qualification. For most Colombian students, we're looking for a GPA of 4.0 in your bachelor's degree. This might vary depending on the course you've chosen to apply to. And also some courses at Bristol do require prior learning. For example, if you're going to do an engineering master's, usually you're required to have an engineering degree. There are some exceptions. For example, we have a conversion course for computer science where you just need to have a strong background in mathematics. So yeah, depending on the course that you choose, we'll be able to let you know the exact requirement for your qualification. Some courses at Bristol will accept a GPA that's lower than 4.0, slightly lower. And this will be if you can compensate for your lower grades with having some relevant work experience. So usually for our courses, we have academic entry requirements, and then separately, we've got English language entry requirements. Most of our courses ask for a 6.5 in IELTS. There are a small handful that might accept a 6.0, but most of them will ask for a 6.5 or higher. And if you aren't able to achieve that score, we do offer pre-sessional English courses that can take place either in Bristol or online. And that can help you if you want to have some bespoke, like some specific English language lessons. But if you are concerned about studying in English for your postgraduate degree, don't be. So many of our students either don't speak English as a first language, or if they do, have been out of education for a long time. And for all postgraduate students, we offer in-sessional English support lessons. So that will help you with things like doing research and referencing, academic writing. So there's a lot of support provided within the course as well to help you with your English. You just need to have the basic level that we ask for to enter. How to apply? So to apply for courses, usually you need to submit an online application. All of our courses begin in September, and you would usually start applying from September or October the year before to gain entry the following year in September. Our applications take place online, and you'd fill out an online form and then submit digital copies of all of your academic qualifications, so transcripts and certificates. And if they're not in English, if the originals are not in English, you would also need to submit a translation. You need to write a personal statement. At Bristol, the personal statement is just, it's a general statement telling us about your motivation for choosing this particular course, but it's not weighted when we decide whether or not to give you an offer. So we're quite different. British universities are quite different from American universities in that sense. You need to have good grades. And if you have good grades, your personal statement doesn't add much value other than telling us that you're a serious candidate who has an aptitude for studying this field. You also need to get one academic reference letter. So it cannot be professional unless you have been out of university for a long time. Yeah, an academic reference letter just basically needs to be from someone who's given you academic instruction before, so a professor, saying that you are, they can vouch for your eligibility for the course. Most of our courses don't have an application fee, so you can apply for them with just your documents. The exception to this is our business and economics courses, which do have an application fee of £60. Some courses might ask for more information. They might ask for a CV, a resume, or they might ask for a handful of courses might ask you to interview for a place. But for the most part, most of our courses just need to look at your documents and no application fee. Most of our decisions are made within 6 weeks. There are the odd cases where it takes longer, and for competitive courses, often you could end up being put on hold, which would extend your application processing duration for quite a bit. But most courses will make a decision within 6 weeks. So all of our master's courses are 1 year long. And in that 1 year, you'll have 3 semesters. The first two will be taught modules. So similar to your undergraduate degree, you'll go to your classes and there'll be lectures, there'll be seminars, there'll be assignments, some group work. So very similar to your undergraduate degree. And in the final semester, over the summer, you'll complete your dissertation. So actually right now, a lot of your seniors at university are working to complete their dissertation that they'll submit in September. Some courses might have variations to how the course is offered. For example, our Master's in Management offers postgraduate students the option to do a research project with an employer instead of a written dissertation, like a research project. So yeah, there might be some variations in different courses, but for the most part, it's those 3 semesters. I didn't actually mention PhD programs here, and I wonder if there are some of you who are interested in PhD programs. For PhD programs, typically you need to find a supervisor. We do have some funded programs at Bristol, but it's all very subjective. It requires a lot of research up front. And what I'd recommend for a PhD, like someone who's looking to pursue a PhD at Bristol, is to get in touch with David and myself so that we can give you more specific advice about the process and the subject area that you're choosing that you'd like to do your research on. But this is for students who are interested in pursuing a master's. Hopefully it gives you some insights into what to do next to apply. What to expect from the course. So the system of education in the UK is quite different from what you'll find in both North and Latin America. For the first bit, research is really important. And I mean, research is really important for postgraduate students in particular, because in the UK, most students do specialized bachelor's degrees and then even more specialized master's degrees. So when you do a master's degree, you're really specializing in something and you're expected to be interested in getting to understand that field on a much deeper level. So the really good thing about studying in a Russell Group university is that you'll have experts teaching you, you'll have access to world-class facilities, and really good samples. Just the technology or the expertise that you have access to, it's going to be incredible. And that can be quite exciting when you're doing research yourself. The Bristol advantage is also that we are specialists in innovation, and that's at the university, but also at the city level. So Bristol's been named one of the most innovative cities in the UK. In 2018, we were actually named the smartest city in the world because of the infrastructure that exists to support technologies and industry, like the startup industry. We also have the world's best university business incubator, nominated 3 years in a row. And so many of our students who have an idea are able to access resources and again expertise to help them make that idea a reality. We also have a suite of innovation master's degrees that you can pursue. So there's just a lot you can do related to innovating. Even though Bristol only has a population of 500,000, it's surprising how much industry exists here and has for like centuries. So some of the companies that you'll find in Bristol are big ones like Deloitte, the BBC Natural History Division, Airbus, Rolls-Royce, Jaguar Land Rover. So there's lots of technology companies, but you also have lots of startups that are based in Bristol, like Ultraleap, which is an engineering technology firm that now has expanded to San Francisco. So the companies that you'll have access to here are really like have good potential. So if you're interested in technology, arts, media, culture, business, law, there's just lots of different types of industry that you can get involved with. Another aspect of British education that you might find different from what you're used to at home is the independent way of learning that's encouraged here. So in your master's, you'll be able to choose, well, for some courses will have optional units that you can choose from. Some courses will have only pre-selected units so you can't choose anything optional, but you can choose to apply your knowledge and your subject content to anything you like. In this way, there's structure that's provided so that you do end up learning what you're meant to learn, but how you apply it is entirely up to you. And students really like that ability to do research on fields. Like if you wanted to do research about something that is relevant to you or to Colombia, you could do that while at Bristol, and the academics would find a way of supporting your area of research. So yeah, there's loads of ways that you can tailor your education to suit what you want to do after you graduate. And another thing that the UK as a whole does really well is we look after our students academically and also just in terms of health. So in the UK, in all UK universities, well, in many UK universities, there is a personal tutor system in which you get paired up with an academic who is your personal tutor, who provides you with academic guidance throughout your course. This is quite helpful if you are new to, it's helpful for international students because you can ask them questions like, how does the grading system work? Or what am I supposed to put in these essays that will make them outstanding? You can ask them any questions that you have, and it makes your academic journey a little bit more, I guess, just understandable. You're not fumbling in the dark when you're doing your assignments and projects. You can also opt in for peer mentoring, where you're matched with a current student, to guide you through life and university. There's a range of support services. So as part of your UK visa fee, you will be paying for healthcare. So you'll have the same access to healthcare as to public healthcare as a British citizen would. And there are lots of different services and spaces for students, international and home, to get to know each other, to settle into university life, to get used to academic life, and to meet other students. So yeah, studying in Bristol is a great experience because I think it's quite holistic. It's not all about the classroom experience. We integrate industry, we integrate new ideas and new thoughts, and also the social aspect of learning into every course. I think I meant to put this slide later on, but a question that we get asked all the time is about funding for your course. And these are some funding options that exist for master's programs. The three main ones for Colombian students. So first of all, thank you to Colfuturo for hosting us today. It's Colfuturo. I think this year we've got about 5 students who are coming in with Colfuturo funding somewhere in that region. Yeah, I believe Karen and her team will be able to give you some more specific guidance about applying for Colfuturo funding. But an important thing to know is that the University of Bristol offers a tuition fee discount to students who are selected for Colfuturo to the value of 30% of the tuition fee. So this is quite substantial. And yeah, because of that, quite a number of students choose to apply to Bristol if they're also looking for Colfuturo funding. Other funding options that are available are the Schevening Scholarship. And Jenny, who will be speaking to you later, is actually a Schevening scholar herself. So Schevening is open at the moment, and you have to apply by the 5th of November. But Schevening scholarships are great because they cover all of your costs, the tuition fee and a stipend for your cost of living as well. Another option is the University of Bristol scholarships called Think Big. So we offer scholarships to postgraduate students worth between £6,000 to £26,000, and that goes towards the tuition fee. So that can be worth anywhere between 15 to almost 100% of the tuition fee. In addition to scholarships, we also offer some selected students bursaries worth about £3,000, and those are given to you in cash to offset your cost of living. For Think Big, you need to apply online, usually between October up until late April or so. We ask you to write 3 short essays telling us about your special accomplishments, your contributions to community, and your future goals and plans. We're looking for people who are leaders, who are influencers, who are innovators, and who have already made an impact in their communities. So these are some of the funding options that are available to you. Again, if anyone is here hoping to find out more about research courses like PhDs, please let us know, and we can also send you information about PhD funding that's available at Bristol. So I think I'm almost at the end of my presentation, but I did want to quickly talk about life in Bristol. Obviously, for many of you, you will be going abroad, maybe for the first time, but definitely coming to Bristol for the first time. So what to expect in terms of living here. In terms of university accommodation, you will be guaranteed a place in one of our university accommodation halls as long as you apply on time and accept our offer on time. Postgraduate students typically have their own bedroom and often their own bathroom as well, so you do get quite a degree of privacy. Living in Bristol, you cannot manage if you don't have good shoes. You need to have shoes on which you can walk every day. Again, this morning I took someone out on a campus tour and we took more than 10,000 steps in about 3 hours. So yeah, lots of walking, lots of hilly walking. I know there's been some frightening news recently about the UK, but just to let you know, Bristol and actually most cities in the UK are really safe. You don't find much violent crime. But in addition to that, Bristol is very welcoming and it's been named one of the kindest cities in the UK because of how friendly people are. So yeah, it's definitely a safe place to live in and to walk around independently in. In terms of the weather, one of the things you'll have to get used to is people talking about the weather. Every day, people talk about the weather. Bristol's weather is not unremarkable compared to the UK, the rest of the UK, but it can get pretty cold and pretty hot in the winter and the summer. So you just want to make sure that you've got sensible clothing. But it's definitely not the coldest. It's not as cold as in the north. And it also doesn't rain as much as some of the other places further up north. So by British standards, it's actually okay weather. Something to take note of, the cost of living in Bristol is heavily influenced by rent, which can be quite expensive unless you're living in university halls, in which case it's a bit cheaper. So we tell students to budget between £1,000 to £1,200 per month for all of your expenses. If you're a high roller and you want to live in a studio apartment, you could spend more, but £1,000 to £1,200 is a comfortable amount to live comfortably. And there's so many different things to do in the city, some of which I mentioned earlier, but you also will have lots of opportunity to engage with the university community through the clubs and societies. And for those of you who are interested in working part-time, international students can work for up to 20 hours per week during term time. And I know quite a number of our students from Latin America like to get part-time jobs either at the university or in the city area. Lastly, Bristol's actually home to quite a significant Latino population. So if you did want to get involved in Spanish language activities, dance, there's lots of food markets that happen on the weekends. Yeah, there's just loads of different things that you can do to make a little home for yourself in Bristol, but also you will meet people from all over the world. So that's part of the experience as well. And now to tell you about her own experience studying at Bristol, I'm going to pass over to Jenny, who will be able to tell you about her time studying at Bristol.
Thank you, Sumia. Hello, everybody. Hello, David. Nice to see you. Should I do this in Spanish or in English?
I guess Spanish would be good. Yeah, let's do it in Spanish.
Okay, thank you. Bueno, para todos los que están aquí, pues yo quiero contarles, yo tuve la oportunidad de hacer una maestría en la Universidad de Bristol en producción de cine y televisión. Fue hace algunos años, en el 2001-2002. Soy como dijo Sumiria, soy Chevening Scholar. Obtuve una beca Chevening con el gobierno británico y puedo decirles que haber estudiado en Bristol ha sido una de las mejores experiencias que yo he tenido en mi vida. Realmente es un cambio por completo, es como like a shifting point, if you like. Realmente es una oportunidad que yo le digo a las personas, deben tomarla. Si ustedes tienen la oportunidad de estudiar afuera, háganlo y háganlo en la Universidad de Bristol. Es el mejor lugar para estudiar. Es una ciudad preciosa. Es muy amigable con los estudiantes. Yo, como muchos colombianos, pues vivía con mis papás normalmente y uno no acostumbra a salir como de su casa, a menos que se case o otras cosas. Bueno, en mi época, hoy en día no sé. Y pues iba asustada, me daba un poco de miedo vivir sola en un país de habla inglesa 100%, hacer una maestría, pues no es un reto pequeño. pero encontré en Bristol un excelente lugar para vivir. Desde el principio, cuando hice la aplicación, lo encontré sencillo, encontré todo el apoyo que necesitaba, la universidad es fantástica, el programa que yo estudié era excelente, mis profesores eran de talla mundial, estudié con personas que han trabajado en la industria y que todo el tiempo nos acompañaron. Lo que decías, mira, es cierto, tiene uno tutores, uno no está acostumbrado a tenerlos y debe usarlos, porque no es lo mismo hacer trabajos como los hace uno en Colombia. Un ensayo para uno es una cosa y un ensayo en el Reino Unido es otra cosa. Entonces es importante estar utilizando las herramientas que la universidad nos da. Adicionalmente, la ciudad es maravillosa. Uno vive cerca a digamos que el campus de la universidad son varios edificios que están muy céntricos y todo queda como a walking distance, todo es muy cerca, es una ciudad segura, hay toda clase de oferta cultural, hay descuentos para estudiantes, la universidad tiene un aeropuerto donde uno puede viajar a Europa muy fácilmente, a Europa continental. Hay muchas cosas para hacer, yo de verdad los animo mucho a que estudien en Bristol. Muchas personas consideran Londres, otras ciudades, pero yo siempre le digo a la gente, y por eso estoy aquí siempre contando sobre Bristol, para mí Bristol es una gema escondida, realmente es una universidad maravillosa, con unos programas estupendos en todas las áreas, y estoy segura que lo van a disfrutar mucho. Un año de maestría se pasa muy rápido, pero realmente es una experiencia que cambia la vida, and I'm really, really grateful to be able to, be Bristol alumni, and I feel very happy of being an alumni, and anything that you need, just let me know. Thank you, Samira.
Thanks very much, Jenny. So we're looking forward to answering your questions now, but if you think you might want to ask a question later on or save our contact details or ask really specific questions, contact us for a one-to-one, please feel free to take down these contact details. Again, I'm Sumi. Hi. Unfortunately, not a good Spanish speaker yet, but my colleague David, who will also be here for the Q&A, is based in Mexico and is fluent in both English and Spanish, so feel free to reach out to him if you have any course-specific questions. And our whole team shares a mailbox called the Americas office. Again, if we can help you in any way, please feel free to let us know and drop us a line. And I think now we will open for a Q&A.
Yeah, okay, Sumitra, David, thank you very much for all the information that you have given us today. This session was so productive because you clarified a lot of really relevant points. Jenny, thank you very much for sharing with us your experience. So now we are gonna start with some questions we have. And the first one is for Jenny, is in Spanish. Bueno, Jenny, Alejandra te pregunta que en dónde vives actualmente y pues bueno, en general quisiera como desarrollar un poco más la pregunta, pues de pronto orientada a que si sigues viviendo en Bristol y además de pronto qué oportunidades se te dieron posterior a que terminaste tu posgrado, pudiste trabajar, es algo que se puede hacer en este país y en esta ciudad. ¿Nos podrías contar un poquito más, por favor?
Claro que sí, es una muy buena pregunta. Yo vivo en Bogotá, Colombia. Parte de mi objetivo era, bueno, no, en realidad ahorita vivo en La Mesa, Cundinamarca. Por pandemia me vine a vivir en La Mesa, que es cerca de Bogotá, pero digamos, regresando, viví todo el tiempo en Bogotá. Yo soy de Bogotá, soy comunicadora social de, digamos, pregrado, y regresé a Colombia porque era mi objetivo. Cuando yo postulé a la beca Chevening, pues una de las condiciones de la beca es que uno regrese al país a contribuir, digamos, con el desarrollo del campo en el país, ¿no? Esa es una de las condiciones. Y de hecho yo apliqué porque mi interés era ese. Y regresé a Colombia e indudablemente sí, la maestría ha hecho un cambio en mi vida total. Es decir, mi vínculo con el Reino Unido ha sido desde ese momento por siempre. Siempre he tenido trabajos relacionados con el Reino Unido. De hecho, trabajé 4 años y medio con el British Council como coordinadora de comunicaciones y mercadeo, cargo que estoy segura no hubiera podido tener si no hubiera vivido en Inglaterra y la educación que me dio la maestría, porque aunque yo no me dedico como productora audiovisual, que era lo que yo tenía en mi mente inicialmente, dije voy a llegar a hacer cine a Colombia. Todos sabemos que la industria del cine en Colombia no existe en realidad, ¿no? Es una cosa muy reducida. Sin embargo, durante mi desarrollo profesional y como comunicadora, todo lo que aprendí en la maestría me sirvió, porque cuando uno aprende en la maestría, aprende de producción audiovisual, de investigación, de toda una serie de cosas que yo apliqué porque en mis trabajos a partir de ese entonces todos han tenido que ver con algo de producción. Digamos que más recientemente, por ejemplo, fui la productora ejecutiva del equipo de comunicaciones del Censo Nacional en 2018, que era un equipo de 50 personas que yo tenía a cargo. Si yo no hubiera tenido la experiencia y el expertise que me dio estar en la universidad, pues difícilmente lo hubiera podido hacer. Sin mencionar que, aunque cuando yo fui a la universidad, pues tenía un nivel de competencia de inglés alta, pues por supuesto el vivir un año en Inglaterra me dio la maestría que necesitaba y ese manejo día a día del inglés. Todos mis cargos a partir de entonces han sido bilingües, la gran mayoría, digamos uno o dos no han requerido competencia bilingüe, pero me ha dado un plus sin duda alguna. Hoy en día, por reinvenciones de pandemia y demás, yo soy intérprete médico y soy docente de inglés, todo remoto desde la mesa con Dinamarca. Pero realmente sí, o sea, es un cambio por completo el hecho de, es que no se imaginan lo que significa estudiar en el Reino Unido y en una universidad como Bristol. Lo que dices, Sumiria, es cierto, es que es otro planeta, es otro mundo, se le abre a uno un mundo de oportunidades, el solo hecho de estar en Bristol, el networking, no les hablé, yo tenía 25 compañeros de 23 nacionalidades diferentes. Es decir, hoy en día yo escucho de pues de varios lugares del planeta y pienso en una persona en específico. Sigo en contacto con ellos, hemos tenido como algunas colaboraciones juntos también, pero sin duda alguna es que no alcanzan las palabras para explicarles lo maravilloso que es, pues tanto así que aquí sigo conectada con la universidad, porque de verdad yo creo que es una oportunidad maravillosa que todos tienen que darse. O sea, de verdad hay que ir a Bristol. Yo de verdad les animo mucho a hacerlo. Gracias.
Perfecto, Jenny, muchísimas gracias. Bueno, nos queda súper claro que tu experiencia allí fue súper enriquecedora. Entonces, la invitación a todos los asistentes es obviamente que indaguen muchísimo más, que utilicen estos puentes de comunicación que tenemos, Jenny, Sumitra, David. Ellos nos van a poder ayudar de pronto a resolver cualquier duda que tengamos en este proceso. Entonces, aprovechemos mucho que los tenemos aquí, esperamos sus preguntas. Sin embargo, tenemos algunas a través de redes sociales. So, Sumitra, we have some questions through social media. So the first question is about the family or the couple. Yeah, is there any problem if any person travel with the family?
So unfortunately, the UK now doesn't offer dependent visas for postgraduate taught students. So students aren't no longer able to travel with their partners if they're arriving for a master's course. David, do you have anything to add around visa regulations for partners?
Yeah, no, it is that. I mean, for PhDs, yes, it's still possible, but for masters, no. That's what I understand just now. I mean, we have a new government, so hopefully some of those restrictions, which were introduced very recently by the previous outgoing government. Indeed, today we've received a nice video from our new Secretary or Minister of Education in the UK. We might want to share that with Cole Futuro and others at some point. The UK is definitely making sure that we're open and welcoming for international students, and I think that's a very important message, and certainly it's the message from Bristol.
That's perfect. Thank you, David. Well, we have another questions here. So, okay, can students work on campus or do an internship?
So they can work on campus. It's possible and legal to work. International students can work during term time part-time, so up to 20 hours per week. Doing an internship is a bit more difficult because usually internships are full-time and over a fixed period of time. It's not impossible. During the summer, some students may be able to juggle an internship with completing the dissertation, but it would be difficult because a dissertation is quite an involving piece of work. So you'd have to cut back on sleep or something to make it work.
That's perfect. Thank you, Smitra. Well, I have another question for Jenny. Bueno, Jenny, pues esto es más pues como en relación a un término algo general y es sobre los sistemas educativos, los niveles académicos entre Colombia y pues en este caso, perdón, el Reino Unido. Entonces, no sé qué nos quieras de pronto tú decir en términos muy generales de la diferencia, de pronto el choque que tuviste cuando llegaste a este país y te diste cuenta que las cosas no solían ser como lo eran acá en Bogotá, digamos en el caso tuyo que vivías acá en Bogotá. Entonces, ¿cuáles es, digamos, esas cosas, esos parámetros, criterios que debería tener en cuenta una persona que va a estudiar en el Reino Unido para que no, pues, entre como, que tenga este choque tan fuerte en el tema educativo?
Okay, I'm going to answer this in English just for Smith. They are asking regarding like the differences between the education and the education level in the UK and Colombia, and like maybe if there is a kind of crash or a kind of a shock while one comes from Colombia and goes to the UK. And I think this is a very interesting question because, well, when you apply, for example, me, I applied for a master's degree, and it's quite, you know, like the application process is very, you know, strict. So you need to have a certain level, academic level, to go there, right? And also because I was applying for a evening scholar, well, that's another, you know, that is very selective. So I have to say that I was kind of over the moon arriving there saying, oh, I'm a evening scholar, so I'm, you know, but no, I mean, it's like you're a regular student. And actually, education in Colombia, I would say that we are accustomed to an education that is kind of like journalistic, if you like, that the teacher says, okay, we're going to read this X or Y book. And then next class, the teacher says, did you read page 1, page 2, da, da, da? And then you expect for them to ask you about, you know, like the homeworks, if you like. They don't do that there. I mean, if you have a reading list, I mean, the letter that I received from the university, from the director of the program, Mr. Peter, who passed away, unfortunately, it was like a 2-sided speech. First 2 lines was welcome to Bristol and the MA in film and television production. And then below that, it was, we are expecting to do this, and this is the reading list. At that time, it wasn't easy to buy books online, Amazon or anything like that. We're talking about 2001, remember? So I said, oh, when I arrive to Bristol, I'll buy them. I'll have time, because in Colombia, you arrive first week of classes is like, hello, how are you? And everything is kind of mingling and having fun. No, remember that you're going for 1 year of masters. So everything is like every minute counts. So when I arrived to the first week expecting to be Colombia style, my peers, my classmates were discussing the reading list. How interesting was this book? Oh, did you like chapter 5? And I haven't even bought the books. So, you know, and I'm kind of like a geek person. So I was like, oh my God, what did I do? I'm going to fail this. So I panicked. I ran to the library, and they have many copies of the books, but they lend them for 1 year. So if you arrive late, all the books are taken for the whole course. So you have to arrive really early or buy them before, I would recommend, and read them, you know, because I had to, you know, eat my books in like a weekend. I wasn't prepared for that. Also, but it tells you the quality of the education that you're expecting. They don't hold your hand saying, oh, do you understand English? Are you okay? Of course, they care for you, but you're in a master level. And one of the things that my tutor told me is that you're expected to produce knowledge as well. And you were selected because you are going to contribute to this course. So you're not going to sit there, you know, you have to contribute. And it's really enriching. Why? I mean, after this first shock week, something said, okay, Jenny, you're here, you have to do it. And then Juanito preguntó, and I was Jenny asking everything to the trips that we had, because we went to London, to Panaflex, to, you know, to Panavision, to all these places, you know. So I was saying, okay, I have to live this experience, because if not, you're too late. As I said, dissertations. One way that you do essays in Colombia is one style. The style is different in the UK. But at my program, they had a little library when they had the dissertations or the papers from previous courses. So you could look at them and have an idea of what was expected for you. One thing that I would recommend really is to really use the resources that the university offers you, the tutor, and also if you're not very, very confident on your writing skills, for example, for papers, find a classmate. I had a very nice British classmate of mine, and I said, could you proofread my papers, please? And he said, yeah, of course. So he helped me with the first ones until I got, like the style and the things, because it's different. It's different. So yes, good question. But it's great.
Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, that's a so good answer also. So, well, Maria is asking, will all the students that are admitted and want to study in Bristol receive the 30% discount with the Crédito Beca of Colfuturo? The 30%.
Yeah. Yes. So if you receive the Colfuturo funding, you will get an automatic 30% off unless you are awarded Think Big. And then you can't have both, unfortunately. So if you have a Think Big award that's bigger than 30%, maybe you want to take that instead of the discount.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And now Shirley is asking if it is necessary to take a language test or have a specific language level in order to apply for the shifting scholarship or to apply to the university?
Yep. So to get into Bristol, you do need to take an English test, which can be IELTS or TOEFL or PTE. We accept quite a few different English tests. And the requirement on the English test depends on the course, but mostly we're looking for a 6.5, so quite good proficiency. Quite good proficiency.
Thank you, Sumitra. Well, thank you at all, Jenny, David. Really, I enjoyed this session. I have to say that. So now, finally, I would like to, if you could maybe give a final advice to our attendees in order to participate in this process with University of Bristol.
Maybe we can each say something. I mean, my advice is really just go for it. Like Jenny was saying, it's always scary applying for something big. Like you don't know whether or not you can get it. Many students try over several years to apply for courses and for scholarships. Just do it. If you can get in, that's amazing. And if you can't get in, there are so many other options that are available to you as well. It's just sometimes about pressing send or pressing apply, just giving it a try. And good luck to all of you.
Thank you, Sumitra. David?
Yes, well, I would say the same. Go for it. Yeah, don't be scared. I mean, Jenny is a fantastic example of a very successful Colombian student who came to Bristol, is a wonderful advocate for us. But she's not the only one. I've been working in Latin America for Bristol for over 15 years, and we've had hundreds and hundreds of students, not just from Colombia, but from across Latin America, coming to Bristol and being very successful and being as successful or indeed more successful than students from other parts of the world. So yes, it is a big step. It's a huge step to leave Colombia and come to the UK, to come to a lovely welcoming place like Bristol. It may be scary in the beginning, but Jenny has made it clear it's a welcoming and great place to be. So yeah, be confident in your own abilities. Yes, we're a demanding and high level university, but the students that we attract from Colombia and Latin America are amongst the most successful students at the university. So be confident and come and be one of them.
Thank you, David. Jenny?
Well, I would say dare to dream big. You really deserve this opportunity, and this is a life-changing opportunity, right? So if you have the chance to apply, do it. If you need to take a little bit more of time to, fine-tune your English, well, keep on studying and keep on applying. I applied twice to the Achieving Scholarship, and I told to my parents, I will apply until I am 80 years old. And they say, oh, this poor old lady, let's give her the scholarship so she can go and leave us alone. But it only took me 2 years to get it. And yes, don't be discouraged. And I would say as a Colombian, sometimes we tend to think that we don't deserve the opportunity, but we do. We do because Colombian students are very talented. Our education is a good quality education, and well, you can always achieve more. And if you are really eager to make a big change on your life and to learn from the best place to be, well, you must go to Bristol. That's what I would say.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for all of you. As I said before, this session was so productive and generated a lot of interest of all of us. So we hope to see you on a future opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Culfuturo.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Good luck, everyone. Bye.
Good luck. Apply.
Apply, yes.